What's up, everybody? Spot of Nerd here with a brand new Thanksgiving spectacular super duper califragilistic episode because we have got so much to talk about. We're getting back to the basics of doing what we normally do here with reviews, and I thought, what better way to come back, I'm trying to words, than discussing not just one film, not two films, but three films. And we're gonna do it very differently because, to be quite frank, sometimes I have verbal diarrhea, and I admit that. So what we're gonna do is, I have my handy dandy phone, and I've set 5 minutes on this phone because I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes to basically dive into the films we're gonna talk about, and hopefully that won't bore you to tears, because I know that can happen. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what I guess some people are calling, Gicked? That's no. Yeah, so apparently Hollywood right now is either going through withdrawals or has completely lost their fucking minds, because, to be quite frank, this new trend right now, specifically with Wicked and Gladiator 2, I guess the new trend right now is they're calling it Gicked or Gwicked or something like that. They're basically trying to reproduce the Barbenheimer thingamabob that was 2023. Both films made about $1 billion. I absolutely despised Barbie. You can go watch my review on it. I absolutely fucking loved Oppenheimer. You can go watch my review on it. But yeah, so right now you have Gladiator 2, which we'll talk about. There's Wicked, which we'll talk about. And then obviously being Christmas and Thanksgiving, which super duper could not be more excited that this year Thanksgiving just has so much more meaning this year. I am so grateful and thankful to everything that happened this year, and I cannot wait for the next 4 years that's gonna come, that like in America alone is gonna be absolutely fantastic. But that's to come in an episode I'm going to describe as nothing further than aftermath. Trust me, you won't want to miss that. In the perspective of, like we normally do, obviously, so you don't miss it, I would love you all so much. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit the subscribe button right down below. Give me the thumbs up. Follow us everywhere you can. Spot of Nerds, specifically Rumble. I've been getting really good vibes there, good like conversations. So obviously YouTube, appreciate that. Obviously the subscribers, much love to y'all. Wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully it's not too crazy with your family. But lo and behold, like I mentioned, let's do things a little bit differently here. I'm going to start with Red 1, we're going to go to Wicked, and then we're going to finish this off with Gladiator 2. To be clear with the whole three films, these are watchable films. I wouldn't really necessarily tell you to go see them in theaters, but if you are looking for films to watch, compared to the last year, these three films are watchable. All I would say is do not set your expectations very high, because quite frankly, if you do, you will be disappointed. Right, so first film on the gate, we are going to talk about Red 1. Timer starts now. Red 1. It's a fucking Christmas movie that is so out of left field. Just wow. But, there's a big but, I cannot lie. I am not a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I am not a fan of Chris Evans. I'm not a fan of the individuals. I'm obviously a fan of their work. I think Chris Evans is an amazing and will never ever be replaced as far as Captain America is concerned. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's a flip-flopper. Again, yes, this is all about politics, but of course they do some good work in relation to movies, TV, blah, 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 blah. So Red 1 basically is a newer generation Santa film. And I would say, to be quite frank with you, it's absolute trash. 0 cups of tea out of 4 from yours truly, Spot of Nerd. But is it something to watch during the holidays? Sure. I mean, okay. You know, it's the cliche. Somehow, there's obviously these mythical beings. There's Santa, there's the Headless Horseman, there's witches, blah, blah, blah. There's Krampus, and Krampus partners with the witch, and the witch kidnaps Santa Claus. And Santa Claus, obviously, it's like 2 days before Christmas. His bodyguard is Rock the Rock. And Chris Evans is this like super duper hacker guy who found Santa. And that's how the witch finds Santa. And then to punish all those on the naughty list, the witch is putting everybody in little snow globes. And ta-da. That's it. That's literally the film in a nutshell. In a snow globe, or trying to sound cute, which whatever. But yeah, the obvious, the CGI is atrocious. It's just like they didn't even care at all whatsoever about this. But I mean, again, it's Christmassy. It's the feel goods. It's the la 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 la. No pun intended. Surprisingly enough, they obviously keep all the woke garbage out. There's not really any politics in it. Credit where it's due. I will always give that. But it's nothing really spectacular. It's nothing we haven't seen already. And that's why I would encourage you, if you have any interest whatsoever in Red 1, wait for it to come out on streaming. Odds are it's gonna be on streaming next week, because let's be very real. It made very little at the box office, if anything at all. Half of the damn budget just went to the actors. Let's be very clear about that. But again, the story, it's very feely, happy go Christmas, fa la 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 la. They do say Merry Christmas, which again, I am absolutely blown away by, because I thought they don't do that anymore in Hollywood. But it's just a sign of things that are changing, which is fucking amazing, and I can't wait to see what happens with all of that. But ultimately, Red 1, it just fails on the delivery as a whole. The story is very basic. It basically falls over itself. You know, it's magical. It's out there. But I think, again, what really ruins it is you could just tell the budget. They didn't put anything towards the visual effects. This looks like trash. This looks like something you would see on a streaming service already. How this made it to to the theaters, to the box office, quite frankly, sometimes I don't know. Somebody should have bought this film, like Paramount, Prime Video, Netflix. They should have just bought this and simply streamed it straight away. Save yourself the time, save yourself the money. I would say, if you want something to watch with your family and the kids, go for Red 1. If you have anything else to watch, including stuff you've already seen before, go and watch that. Look at that! 30 seconds to go, people. I'm ahead of the game right now. So we're going to pause and we're going to reset. What did I say was going to be next? A part of the Gicked? Is it? Somebody tell me in the comments. Is it Gwicked? Glicked? Licked? Awkward. Anyway, let's talk next. Wicked. Starting the timer now. You can see 5 minutes. Okay. Wicked obviously is, to be very frank with you, let me be very, very honest. I had absolutely zero interest in this film whatsoever. I'm not saying like I said, it's not a bad film. It actually, and I'm going to throw up just ever so slightly here, it's not terrible. You know, I do have to give credit. Great acting, great actors and actresses. Visually, it's quite impressive. Where this film tends to fall apart, it is a 3 fucking hour movie. 3 hours of singing. Dear God, how? Why? If? When? Here's the cherry on the top. It's only part fucking 1. of a 2-part film, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like the fucking Lord of the fucking Rings with Peter fucking Jackson. Holy fucking shit. That's where this movie fails on its own self, because for the love of God, it does not need to be 3 hours, but that's beside the point. Anyway, it's quite unique. Like I said, visually, it's very entertaining. The music becomes obnoxious. As I say, I'm not the biggest musical fan. I'm more of like a Moulin Rouge type musical fan. These movies drive me insane. It's like being in the pits of hell watching it. But again, I can't say it's a bad film. It's just a meh kind of film. If you obviously are a fan of The Wizard of Oz, yeah, you'll probably enjoy it, because they do tag on to that. It's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, if you're not familiar with Wicked. It's based off of a book. It's based off of a Broadway. It's based off of a book. It's based off of a Broadway play. Bing, bang, boom. Sorry about the Tron disc, but I'm still on a timer, so I can't really edit that. You get the drift. But what I'm getting at, Cliff Notes, I'd give it, realistically, I'll give it a cup of tea. 1 out of 4 from yours truly, Spot of Nerd. I think it's worthy. It's just very hard to watch. It really, really is. And it's hard to watch in relation to the 3 fucking hours. The constant singing. If you want to torture terrorists, this is something you want to play for them, because it is, I get it, it's a musical, but 3 hours is just, you're flogging a dead horse. You really, really are. And I think that is what ultimately people will call BS on it. But at the same time, comparatively to what we've had this past year, as mentioned, it's not terrible. It's not really, it's just meh. It's okay, you know? The Cliff Notes, how she becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. Basically, we find out the Wicked Witch of the West's mom is a hussy. And yes, I do mean that, because basically she cheated on her husband with the wizard, Oz, who is played by, what's his face? Jeff Goldblum. And then apparently Jeff Goldblum is this evil, sadistic asshat who basically cages animals that used to be able to talk, so he stops them from talking. So the Wicked Witch of the West finds out that dad is basically the Wizard of Oz, who's a fucking douchebag. It's an interesting story. Can't really say yay or nay on that, just other than the fact of, like, right out of the gate, you find out mom is basically just kind of nasty, dirty, horrible person. But, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, they try to play the whole, gotta be careful, they try to play the whole, like, you're green, you know what I'm talking about, the whole, like, her whole skin color thing. They go down that road a lot, but it doesn't overwhelm the film, it doesn't overtake it, so I'll give them credit on that. It's just kind of weird from the story. Like I mentioned, Jeff Goldblum being the wizard, he's just kind of an asshole. You kind of, I guess you could see it from the Wizard of Oz perspective, the original old school film, but the way they tie this all together in a prequel sense, and then is it Melinda, the pink lady, the good witch, you know, it just tells their friendship. But 3 fucking hours, and there is my timer. Honestly, it's kind of a thank. I really actually thank that timer, because let's be real, that's where it's at. All right, the moment you have probably all been waiting for, Gladiator 2. So let's start the old 5-minute timer. Gladiator 2. Now, to preface, however you say that, the first Gladiator film, in my view, was a masterpiece. It was a work of art. Russell Crowe at his peak before he turned into what he is right now, which is, that's a whole different ballgame. So now you have, 25, 30 odd years later since the original, you have Gladiator 2. At best, this is a 3, 5 out of 10. But for me, yours truly, I will barely give it a 1 cup of tea out of 4 from yours truly, Spot of Nerd. And there's many reasons for it, but ultimately, this movie is number one, it's a carbon copy of the first film. Oh my god, shocking, he had a son. The son goes through the exact same process in the original film. Basically, it's a redemption arc because, of course, the bad guy killed his wife, and thus you have him becoming a gladiator and tries to bring, balance to the force, if you might say, to basically inspire the people of Rome to stand up against tyranny and blah, 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 blah. It's, number one, it has wasted talent. There are so many great actors and actresses in this film, they are completely wasted. Visually, it is embarrassing, if you ask me. Now, apparently a lot of people are giving it praise for the visuals. How do you get sharks into a Colosseum in 180 AD Rome? It doesn't make fucking sense. Now, apparently, I'm mistaken. I did a little research. Apparently, you could actually get water in the Colosseum. I don't know if I don't know if that's real. I don't know if it's true. I do have to call bullshit though on the sharks. How did you, number one, catch the fucking sharks, transport the fucking sharks, and then somehow manage to keep them in a tank in medieval Rome, and eventually you put them in the Colosseum to fight the gladiators? It doesn't make fucking sense. But that's beside the point, because I'm still probably only got about 2 or 3 minutes left on this review. This movie tries to be its own past self, and it literally falls flat on its face. Ultimately, the main actor, I can't even tell you what his fucking name is, who is the son... Again, I apologize for this, but I'm on a timer. He is basically the son of Russell Crowe in the first film. He went off to Africa. He lost his memory of who he was. Turns out mom found out that, yes, you're my kid. Oh my god, it's fantastic. He is obviously on the redemption, the fact that Rome destroyed his home, killed his wife. The cliche story that we've all seen, and it just, again, that's where it is very blah. It's very basic. It's very meh. So ultimately what I would say with Gladiator 2, yeah, it's a great film, and great is a strong word. It's a solid film in terms of action, in terms of keeping to the original aesthetic. See, I can use big words too. But like I say, it's just something that never needed to be made. We did not need a sequel to Gladiator. And if we did, they should have done it 20 years ago. Right? Doing it now is just pointless. There's no need for it. And quite frankly, if you ask me, that story is a bit of a stretch. The whole idea that there was a son all along and he was the rightful heir to the throne. Because quite frankly, you don't even give us any backstory. Apparently this takes place 20 years, 16 to 20 years after the first film. Apparently all the charisma and the passion and the patriotism that Russell Crowe gave us in the first film is all been erased, and it's as if it never fucking existed. So there's just wasted talent, specifically the Emperor guy who's played by the Stranger Things Eddie. It's just weird. It's very awkward and weird. They put a monkey in the throne, as in a monkey literally runs the country of Rome, or the empire of Rome. It's fucking weird shit like that. So that's where it falls. Basically, it falls apart. It falls all over itself, and that's where it ultimately will get destroyed at the box office, because word of mouth right now is don't go and watch this. And quite frankly, many people are not. Theaters are empty, and my timer is going off. But one of the 10,000 other reviewers out there, I will simply say this: I was not entertained at all with Gladiator 2, and it hurts my soul to say that, because Gladiator, that first one with Russell Crowe, like I said, absolute masterpiece, perfection in movie telling, Ridley Scott at his finest. This Gladiator 2 film, just damn. The typical next-gen sequel, prequel, yeah, it is a sequel, that never needed to happen. It never ever needed to happen. and is continued proof that Hollywood clearly is not understanding or even has a clue how to fix itself. So I guess we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, would I recommend these 3 films? Sure. Would I recommend you wait till they come to streaming? Abso-fucking-lutely. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Just keep them on in the background once they're out on the streaming services. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen them? Have you seen any of these? Have you seen all 3? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. We've got so much incredible stuff coming, especially leading up to Christmas. I hope you will stay tuned. And until then, folks, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Laters, y'all. So, just a heads up, Trump's your president.